All eyes around the state, around the country, around the world are on the Indiana Fever. And straight up, what Caitlin Clark just did in 41 games took Diana Taurasi 565 games to achieve. Let that sink in. The rookie to sophomore leap we're seeing might be the biggest jump in basketball history. While everyone's talking about her triple-double, there are actually 11 records from that game that were broken by Clark and the Indiana Fever. Every minute of the Fever's demolition of the Chicago Sky has been analyzed, and the findings will leave you speechless. Caitlin Clark's triple-double was just the beginning of a night that changed the WNBA record books forever. If you're rocking with Indiana, comment, "I've got the Fever," down below. Let's go. DeWanna Bonner walked onto the court just 7 points away from basketball immortality. Think about that. 15 years of pro excellence, thousands of buckets, and now standing at the doorstep of becoming the third highest scorer in WNBA history. That's not just Hall of Fame stuff, that's legend territory. Bonner has been putting the ball in the basket since 2009, steadily climbing the scoring ranks through stints with Phoenix, Connecticut, and now Indiana. And here she was, just 7 points away from passing Tina Thompson on the all-time list. Would anyone even notice this milestone with all the Fever mania happening? The moment finally arrived in the final quarter. Bonner was sent to the free throw line to hit 2 shots. The first one swished in, tying the record in front of an adoring crowd. The second one pushed her past 7,488 career points, making her just the third player in the 28-year history of the WNBA to reach this scoring summit. What makes Bonner's achievement even more special is how she's transformed the Fever's culture. This isn't just some aging star chasing personal glory. She's a 6-time All-Star with 2 championships who brings winning DNA to a young roster desperate for guidance. When she speaks in the locker room, players like Clark, Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hall listen. Listen to how Clark describes Bonner's influence. That's real, recognize real, no cap.
She deserves it. She's one of the best players that's ever played the game, touched the ball. So, I mean, not only a great person, great basketball player, really great leader for our team. So I feel lucky enough to learn from her every single day.
Now Bonner has only Tina Charles ahead of her at 7,696 points for the second spot on the all-time list. But as impressive as her achievement was, the night was just getting started. Another Fever star was about to remind everyone why Indiana's future looks so frighteningly bright. Remember when people questioned if Aaliyah Boston could truly dominate, especially against fellow South Carolina alum Camila Cardoso, who stands at 6 feet 7 inches? Those critics got their answer in the most emphatic way possible against the Chicago Sky. Boston entered her 3rd season with something to prove, and she delivered a performance that was flat out nasty. The Chicago front court came in feeling themselves. Angel Reese had been talking all week about how she planned to dominate the paint against Boston. Instagram posts, press conferences, even in warm-ups, Reese made it clear she thought she'd own the matchup. Boston's response? A defensive masterclass that left jaws on the floor. 5 blocks that sent Sky players' shots flying into the stands. The kind of rejections that had fans jumping out of their seats and pointing at the scoreboard. Each time Reese went up for a shot, Boston seemed to be right there waiting. Boston's defensive dominance moved her to 6th in blocks in Fever history. Those 13 rebounds weren't just impressive, they were historic. The performance moved Boston to 8th in rebounds in Fever franchise history in just her 3rd season. Think about that. Players have been grabbing boards for the Fever for decades, and Boston is already in the top 10 all time. The combination of 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks put Boston in truly rare air. She became only the 2nd player ever in WNBA history with 15-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus blocks in a season opener. The first, Natasha Howard, back in 2014. That's exclusive company for any player, let alone one in just her 3rd year. While Reese did manage 17 rebounds, her offensive game suffered terribly. She shot just 5 for 14 from the field, struggling to score over Boston's perfectly timed contests. The much-hyped matchup turned into a clinic on defensive positioning and timing. Reese came for the crown, but Boston sent her packing with receipts. What Caitlin Clark did against the Sky wasn't just impressive, it was something we've literally never seen in the 28-year history of the WNBA. No one has ever done what she accomplished in that season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, not Sue Bird, not Cheryl Swoops, nobody. Clark entered her sophomore season carrying massive expectations. After breaking 62 records during her rookie season and transforming the Fever from lottery team to playoff contender, fans wondered what she'd do for an encore. But nobody predicted the absolute heater she was about to go on. Early in the game, Clark was already on fire. She hit a logo 3 within the first few minutes, the kind of shot that makes defenders shake their heads. The ball barely touched the net as it went through. That was just the beginning. She played like someone who had spent the entire offseason with one goal: dominate on both ends of the court. Her 4 blocks set a career high and became the most blocks by a point guard in a season opener in WNBA history. This shocked everyone who thought defense was her weakness. These weren't just weak contests either. They were emphatic rejections that energized the entire team. Clark turned doubters into believers with every defensive stand. Her haters in absolute shambles. The Clark-Boston connection reached its peak when they combined for 9 blocks, the most by any duo in a season-opening game in league history. Think about that. A point guard and center combining for 9 blocks. That's the kind of defensive impact usually reserved for Twin Towers front courts, not a guard-center pairing. As the fourth quarter began, anticipation built throughout the arena. Clark needed just 2 assists and 1 rebound for history. The crowd sat on the edge of their seats as she chased the first ever 20-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist triple-double in a season opener. Every time she passed the ball, fans held their breath. Every missed shot had them watching to see if she'd grab the board. With just under 5 minutes left, Clark secured her 10th assist on a perfect pass to Aaliyah Boston for a mid-range jumper. The crowd erupted. Then, minutes later, she came back to the game to snag her 10th rebound, sending the arena into absolute pandemonium. History had been made, and everyone knew it. But here's the stat that will absolutely blow your mind. Clark now has 9 games with 20-plus points and 10-plus assists, second all-time next to Courtney Vandersloot. What's even more record-breaking is she did this in just 41 games, while Diana Taurasi, also with 9 such games, took 565 games to reach that mark. Let that sink in. That's the difference between Clark and everyone else who's played in this league. What takes other players their entire careers to accomplish, she's doing in her first 41 games. She's not just breaking records, she's shattering our understanding of what's possible for a player in professional basketball. The league is getting cooked in 4K, and there's nothing they can do about it. Think about this. If Clark maintains even a fraction of this pace, she'll break every meaningful WNBA point, assist, and triple-double record before she's done. That's not hyperbole, that's math. What we're witnessing isn't just greatness, it's a complete redefinition of what's possible in professional basketball. We're watching someone who's approaching the game differently than anyone before her, and the results speak for themselves. The numbers don't lie, and they're telling us something unprecedented is happening. What we just witnessed against the Sky isn't just a win. It's the birth of a dynasty that could dominate women's basketball for the next decade. The Fever's 35-point demolition of Chicago represents more than just a regular victory. It showcases what happens when generational talents align at the perfect moment. And this wasn't any ordinary blowout. It represents the second biggest win margin in Indiana Fever history. While skeptics might dismiss this as just one game, the statistical evidence tells a different story about what's actually brewing in Indiana. 11 records broken in a single night, it's a warning shot to the rest of the league. The Fever didn't just win, they caught bodies. The Clark-Boston connection is evolving faster than anyone anticipated. Their combined 9 blocks demonstrates they're developing two-way chemistry that goes beyond scoring. That defensive partnership wasn't supposed to happen this quickly. Most experts predicted it would take years for them to develop this level of court awareness together. When you look at how quickly this team is gelling, it's hard not to get excited. The spacing is perfect. The defensive rotations are crisp. The ball movement is exceptional. These aren't things young teams typically excel at. Yet, The Fever are making it look easy. The vibes are immaculate with this squad. The question isn't if Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and the Indiana Fever will break more records this season, it's how many they'll shatter before it's all said and done. This team isn't just playing games, they're rewriting the story of women's basketball one headline at a time. So if you're rocking with Indiana, drop it in the comments and let me know. Type, "I've got the Fever" loud and proud. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're locked in every time we drop something new. And speaking of something new, what just came out has the whole WNBA on edge. Instant panic hit a league referee after shocking new footage surfaced showing Caitlin Clark being assaulted again and again. What really happened? Why was nothing done? And how deep does this go? Click here to watch because what you're about to see might change everything.